Hi, my name is Daniel. I'm with Dr. Christensen's Accounting 6100 class. Today I'm going to be talking about the hidden costs of organizational dishonesty. The article starts off by saying, why do organizations act dishonestly? And it states that all other things being equal, most executives without hesitation will say that they will take the high road. However, the problem is that things are never equal, and we are often motivated by trying to meet sales quotas or competitive concerns or potential career advancements. And these motivators can often override our moral compasses. So companies often act unethical out of attempts to try to receive short-term gains. However, the costs of these dishonest behaviors will always outweigh the benefit. And the article talks about three types of specific malignancies that occur in an organization when they try to, or when they create an environment of dishonest behavior. The first one, and probably the most obvious, is reputation degradation. And the company will develop a poor reputation, and because of that, they will lose returning customers. One quote that I really liked by Edson Spencer, the chairman of Honeywell, or the former chairman, said, "The business who straddles a fine line between what is right and what is expedient should remember that it takes years to build a good business reputation, but one false move can destroy that reputation overnight." And I think that that's what many businesses fail to recognize, is that often, or very similar to trust in an organization, it's like a muscle group. And that trust, like a muscle, it takes a lot longer to gain than it does to lose. We can lose it a lot quicker than we gain it. The second type of malignancy is mismatches between values of the employees and the organizations. And when businesses have these conflicting values between companies and employees, it creates there are far more instances of absenteeism or employees calling in sick and lower job satisfaction. And I think that it's interesting that it talks about job satisfaction especially affects the high quality employees. And these employees, when they are unsatisfied with their jobs, they will either underperform, so there will be a decrease in productivity, or they will leave the company, and this will create higher turnover, and the company will be left without their quality employees. Another thing to recognize is that dishonesty often breeds dishonesty. And if organizations are dishonest from the top, it'll create an environment where employees themselves will become more dishonest, and this will create more opportunities for internal fraud, which the article states internal fraud is twice as likely to occur as consumer fraud. It also states that U.S. companies lose $400 billion a year to internal fraud. The third malignancy that it talks about is increased surveillance, and how this might not necessarily be a great way to counter dishonesty. And sure, the cost of surveillance is expensive, but the indirect cost can actually be far higher. It can create things like degradation of the work environment, adversarial relations between an employee and the workers, diminished productivity, health consequences, and in some cases, employees might even want to get revenge over their employers. So businesses often tend to go from bad to worse, and they try to do things like stop the employee theft by implementing more surveillance systems, rather than really evaluating the corporation from the top down, which is where dishonesty often occurs or starts. And they also recommend implementing things like measuring ethical behavior in the organization and regulating it frequently, as well as incorporating customer ratings. I think that what the article is trying to explain here is that businesses, they drastically undervalue the costs of being dishonest, and that these costs are extremely difficult to account for, but but they are often far more and extensive than what the company even assumes.